Snow levels. Levels in video games with a hearty helping of dandruff everywhere. Oh, you want me to say more? Yeah, no, screw that. Let's just jump right in and talk about some video game snow levels. Oh yes, New Super Mario Bros. That series everyone hates because Nintendo seems to have a really weird addiction to putting these games out. The game I'm going to be talking about is New Super Mario Bros. Wii. More specifically, this one segment in World 3. Now, at first, there doesn't really seem to be that much to talk about. This is the third world in the game, and it introduces a new power-up for some reason, the penguin suit. It's pretty much the ice flower, but you can slide on your belly, and the sound effect for collecting it is really weird. Why does it sound like that? And why is this the only power-up in the game that makes a different noise? And while we're talking about weird things about World 3, this level, in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty pointless. The final castle of this world is pretty weird too. It has very unique assets compared to the rest of the game. Like there's these huge-ass ice blocks that you have to blow up with bombs, and there's even bombs in the ice blocks, so it can cause a chain reaction. This is also the only level in the game that features snake blocks. Yeah, this is the only place they show up, and even more weird, they're ice snake blocks. While all of this stuff that I just mentioned is certainly strange, the real thing I wanted to dedicate this segment to is the weirdest level gimmick of all time. This red block switch. Nothing like this ever appears in the game again. It's just in this one segment of the snow world of all things. It's not super complicated to understand, but it's just really weird. Okay, so basically when you beat the first half of World 3, you come to this part, and the only level you can do is this one that has like a zebra color scheme. Later when you hit the red block switch, this level actually turns into a red block, so I'm just going to assume that this is supposed to represent a blank block, and this black pattern on the outside is the outline of the blank block. Anyway, going into this level, it's fairly standard for a snow level. There's these big ice blocks that move, but other than that, it's fairly typical. Aside from these block outlines, this pipe you can't reach, and the fact that you end the level on a secret exit. After you complete this level, you're then taken to this mushroom level, where you have to ride this square mushroom platform vertically. Again, nothing really that out of the ordinary, except for this pipe you can't reach and all the block outlines. After you beat this level, you're taken to the switches. Press it, and now all the empty blocks are filled in. This means that you can go back to the mushroom platform level and get to the secret exit. This also turns the zebra print level into a red block level, and the game acts like it's a new level, even though the only difference is the red blocks. Also, for some reason, you can disable the blocks, even though there's literally no point in doing that. Anyway, the zebra print level now turned red block level is just kind of the same, only it's easier now with the added blocks. After finding the regular exit to this level, you get to move on to the castle, and the red blocks are never seen again. For real. This is a really weird level gimmick, and it's odd that the snow world of all things was picked to house it. It's not bad in any particular way, it's just kind of like useless and strange and really weird. Okay, that's all I really have to say. While we're on the topic of Mario, let's move on to snow levels in Super Mario Galaxy, because I can get some material out of them. Well, I say snow levels, but there's only like 2. If you count both games. So let's first start off with Freezeflame Galaxy, also known as Wasted Potential. The supposed gimmick of this level is that it's both a snow level and a lava level, but out of the 6 stars you get in this level, only 1 actually plays with the gimmick of snow and lava being in the same galaxy. The third one. The first 2 stars are your standard snow levels and lava levels respectively. The hidden star is just more snow, granted with the use of a fire flower, and the 2 comets are snow focused as well. Not to mention that the levels themselves aren't exactly the best Super Mario Galaxy has to offer, and the 3rd star, when hot and cold collide, doesn't even play with the gimmick that much to begin with. There's a segment at the beginning where you have to skate through this linear path. Then there's this planet with both a hot and cold area. You have to go to the hot area to grab a fire flower, bring that over to the cold area, and light 2 torches. Then there's the end where you grab the ice flower and skate on top of floating lava tiles. For some reason, Mario can still stand and skate on lava, so I guess no matter the liquid, Mario can stand on it. Now I just want to see Mario skate on a river of piss. I just find it kind of weird how they made an entire galaxy's gimmick be about snow and lava coming together, but it barely ever comes together in the first place, and when it does, they don't even do it in an interesting way. However, I do think it's kind of funny how the boss of the first star is named Baron Burr. Also, there's this part of the planet where, like, boulders come out of holes in the wall, but, like, they don't actually come out, they just spawn in front of them. Oh, also, if you fall in this planet, you go through it. It's kind of weird. Alright, let's move on. During the final dome of this game, you can feed this hungry Luma and he takes you to this 1-star galaxy called Snowcap Galaxy. By far one of the most forgotten galaxies in this game. The whole point of this galaxy is to be another bunny chasing minigame. You have around 2.5 minutes to find 3 bunnies in the snow. You have to move the snow with the help of the pointer, and there's these switches to find. Once you do, you can grab this fire flower and commit arson. Doing that reveals the rabbits and you can catch them. If you run out of time, you die, which is something I still don't really get. Well, that wasn't really all that fun at all. I'd also like to mention that before this galaxy even starts, you land on this glass planet where you have to go underneath and grab this shell. The shell's only purpose is to open this chest where a sling star appears that takes you to the actual level itself. What the fuck is the point of that? Okay, with that, let's move on to Super Mario Galaxy 2, a game with much better snow levels. Yeah, if anyone ever questions me for liking this one more, I'll just tell them the snow levels are better.
Who the fuck cares?
Let's start with Freezeflame Galaxy. This level, or at least the first star of this level, also toys with that snow lava gimmick as well. And funnily enough, does it a lot better. You have to roll these snowballs through the lava to make a path, and it slowly melts. That was way more interesting than anything that was done in Hot and Cold Collide. In this galaxy, you can also find a hidden game show down this sewage drain. The point of the game is to skate into these gummy bears to get a high score. The grape flavored gummy stops you from skating, and the piss flavored gummies give you extra points. Now, something pretty odd about this level is this house at the beginning, where you can see this rabbit. Taking the camera inside the house reveals that he's just staring at a wall, and that the window is only one way, which to me feels kind of dumb. I feel like it would have been much easier to just put a hole in the wall. Another weird thing is this brief part in the first star. For some reason, you go down this slide. The only other time you go down a slide in the same way is in the actual slide level in Tree Trunk, which is oddly enough found in World 3 of Galaxy 2, which is the same world that this galaxy is in. The only reason I can actually really see this being here is for the green star. Other than that, it's kind of pointless and especially weird. The second star of this galaxy is just pure snow level, and it's the only star in either of these two games that actually tricks you in a unique way. They disguise a boss as a planet, which I think is pretty cool. However, because this planet is actually a boss, Mario makes a weird noise when he lands on it. Also, other than this boss being a planet, or at least disguised as a planet, the boss isn't all that interesting. To fight the planet, you have to hit him in his Rudolph-looking ass nose 3 times, and that's kind of it. Finally, on our list of Super Mario Galaxies, we have Shiverburn. Okay, so first, let's talk about undeniably the most famous part of this level. The second appearance of the Chips game show! Hell yeah! It's the exact same thing! Also, there's the Hell Valley Sky Trees, which I made the whole video about at the beginning of this year. Oh wow, look at that name tag. However, something else that's kind of weird that you can see in first person are these meteors. When you look at the meteors at this section of the galaxy, they freeze in place for some reason. As for the level itself, yet again, it's a hot and cold collision level. I would say it makes better use of this gimmick than Freezeflame Galaxy, but That's only by default. This level has 3 stars, not counting the green stars. One of those stars is a gummy minigame, and one of those stars is a comment. So 2 of the 3 stars in this level used the gimmick of both having lava and ice. Freezeflame had 6 stars, and only 1 of them used the gimmick. However, despite this, I still feel that Frosty Flake used the gimmick better, and that one wasn't even all that mind-blowing. Or named after the gimmick. In this level, it's mainly just switching between an ice segment and a lava segment. The most this level comes to interaction between the elements is this part at the beginning where you have to turn the lava into ice, as well as these fireballs landing on the ice to make lava circles that eventually disappear, and vice versa. I mean, at least the boss is pretty cool. You have to hit him with coconuts. Well, I'm all out of Mario Snow levels I want to talk about, so let's abruptly move over to Sonic. Did you know that there is only 1 snow level in the classic Sonic games? Of course, assuming that you don't consider Sonic Mania classic Sonic. Even counting Mania though, there's only 1 level that could be counted as a snow level, and that's Act 2 of Press Garden. There was a planned snow level in Sonic 2 that never made it past the planning phase, and there have been snow levels in Sonic Adventure and Sonic Advance, but when it comes to the classic Sonic games that, people actually care about, there's Ice Cap Zone and Press Garden Act 2. But I'll just talk about Ice Cap Zone for this video. Well, actually no. First, let's talk about Sonic 3 just in general for a moment. I'm sure that most of you know that Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles were originally going to be one conjoined game. But due to a McDonald's Happy Meal toy deal, or something like that, the game had to be split up so it would release early enough. Because of that, among other things, some levels changed order. For example, before Ice Cap Zone, there's a level called Carnival Night Zone. In the game as we know it, when you finish Carnival Night Zone, you go into a cannon that fires you to Ice Cap Zone, where you proceed to snowboard down a mountain and then play the level proper. However, the original intended layout was that after Carnival Night Zone, you move on to Flying Battery Zone, which takes place on an airship and in the end was moved to Sonic & Knuckles. Then after you were finished Flying Battery, you used the door as a snowboard. I'm not exactly sure why they changed the order, but my theory is that they moved Flying Battery to Sonic & Knuckles to make it shittier. They moved it to Sonic & Knuckles so that Sonic & Knuckles had more levels. While we're on the subject of Ice Cap Zone trivia, let's talk about the music. In the Sonic 3 beta, the song goes like this. However, at some point in development, the music team changed it to this. I would say the guy that was in charge of this change was Brad Buxer. Why I think this is because Brad Buxer also worked on a song called Hard Times by the Jetzons in 1982, which never released until the complete Jetzons album came out, and the 2 songs sound identical. By the way, when I say Jetzons, I don't mean this Jetzons, I mean this Jetzons. Something to note is that for the PC port of this game, the beta music was still used. This was either done to get around the legal issues of the songs, or because the people converting the songs to MIDI just didn't get the memo that the songs were changed. After all, there's other songs in the PC port that used the beta music as well. Also, this year, the Jetzons, or I'm assuming the Jetzons, released this song as well as When the Sun Goes Down on vinyl. And for some reason, Ice Cap Zone is used as the art for the album. Okay, so I get that Ice Cap Zone is like the exact same song, but why? Oops, for a sec I forgot we were talking about a video game. Let's talk about the level itself, which is, well, it's a classic Sonic level, of course I like it. I think the cave environment is pretty cool, I think the background here is pretty impressive, the boss fights are pretty fun, the trivia of this level is really neat, it's just a good Sonic level. One thing I've noticed is that it doesn't really seem to use the environment to its advantage. What I mean by that is, contrary to what you might think, there aren't really any slippery surfaces in this level. I feel like if this level was reskinned to be a different level, not much would really change. Also, these... well, okay, I don't really know what they're called, but you have to spin dash to get them to move, and I think they're annoying. Anyway, Ice Cap Zone is neat. I didn't really have that much to say about it aside from the trivia, so I give it a hearty B+. Okay, so let's move on to some more modern games, and one I, for some reason, mention a lot on this channel. Uncharted. More specifically, Uncharted 2 and 4. as those are the only games in the series with snow levels. They are also coincidentally the only games in the numbered series to not focus on Sir Francis Drake, have the highest critical acclaim, have the word thief in the subtitle, and with Elena and Nate having a conversation that relates to rating fear on a scale of 1 to 10, show Nate in actual prison, start in medias res, have even numbers, and those numbers are colored red. Also, on the opposite side of the coin, Uncharted 3 are odd numbered, don't start in medias res, do focus on Sir Francis Drake, have a plot point about Sully dying before it's revealed to be fake, have QTE boss fights, both have Nate jumping out of a plane, and end with walking into the sunset. That's pretty strange. Okay, so unfortunately, I don't really have anything to say about the snow levels in these games, and this was all just an excuse to talk about those really weird coincidences. Actually, no, wait, this happens in the Himalayas level in Uncharted 2 when you fall off the mountain. That wasn't edited in any way. I don't really get it. Why does that happen? I'm very confused. Anyway, to make it up to you, let's talk about another game I, for some reason, can't seem to shut the hell up about. The Last of Us. More specifically, the winter segment in The Last of Us. Part 2 of Part 2 is still coming, just eventually. Now, before I talk about this, I think it's fair to talk about the DLC first, or at least half of it. Now, I'm just going to assume you know what happens in the story of The Last of Us, as if I were to explain the story up till here, it would contain pretty massive spoilers. So if you haven't played The Last of Us, either skip this part, play it yourself, or continue watching if you don't care, which I assume many of you will do regardless. Anyway, half of Left Behind is Ellie and her friend exploring a mall. It doesn't really have anything to do with winter, so I don't really care to talk about it. The other half is Ellie in a mall trying to find first aid stuff for Joel, who at this point has been impaled and is very weak. Now in this DLC, you play entirely as Ellie, who is different from Joel in many ways. She can still throw things and shoot, but she can't pick up or create improvised weapons, you can't craft as many items, and you're slightly weaker. On the plus side though, Ellie has an actual knife, so stealth is a lot easier because you don't have to continuously craft shivs over and over again. Something else that's cool about this DLC is that the clickers and human enemies actually interact, which is something that never happened in the base game. This DLC, however, is pretty short and doesn't really offer that much new aside from the story stuff. But what is here, like the combat and the story itself, is good, and it doesn't feel any worse than the base game. Speaking of the base game, let's actually move on to the winter level in The Last of Us now. In terms of gameplay, the encounters are pretty plentiful, and in my opinion, pretty fun. I also noticed that in this section, there's a very good ratio of combat and story. At the beginning of this part, you have to try killing a deer, which leads you to this area. You're then introduced to Dave and Buddy Boy, and after a little bit of story, boom, combat sequence. You use an assortment of weapons, and by that I mean you use your rifle, and kill a bunch of enemies rushing over to your little section here. Then you take a break by coming over to this area here. You get a little bit of dialogue and do a little stealth here. And then you get another combat section, which is similar to the last one, but now you have a larger assortment of weapons and items to use that you picked up from over here. I feel that these are pretty good encounters, even in the hardest difficulty. After this, we get more story. When the cutscene ends, it's the next day, or a few hours later or something. You then have this chase sequence, and after a bit you're thrown right into another pretty long combat sequence. Only this one is more focused on stealth rather than combat. You have to make your way past this beach resort, I think. After you make it past all the enemies, you get a little moment to breathe before you have to stealth through and around this building, and then you're caught by Dave.
Yeah.
Then there's more story. This is when we cut to Joel, who isn't fully healed but can definitely run. You have to fight your way through these enemies until you come across these two. It's at this point where you take turns between playing as Joel and Ellie, exploring Silent Hill and killing all the enemies. Then it's topped off with a boss fight. You play as Ellie and you have to maneuver around these booths and try to stab Dave, but you can't step on the arbitrarily placed plates because he'll hear that. Arbitrarily placed plates. Why did I write it like that? Fuck. Now, I'm not exactly sure how well I explained this part, or if I even explained why it's so good, but regardless, I think this part of the game is great. It's fun, but also delivers on the story aspect, all in a balanced way. It also helps that this part of the game looks different than many parts of the game before, and that you mostly play as a different character. If I ever actually do a review of this game, I'll probably go into more detail as to why I like this part so much, but for now, yeah, it's pretty neat. Okay, so that's all the winter levels I wanted to talk about. I would end this video on like a ranking list or something, but not all of these were really reviews, so I'll just skip that. So, in conclusion, snow levels are just regular levels with a bunch of white shit everywhere. Happy fucking Boxing Day and Merry New Disappointment!